Hello friends, welcome to BM Livar, and in this video we'll be discussing about various types of government all over the world. See, to govern a nation you can't only have a central government. The central government cannot rule over everywhere. If you have to administer at the local levels, you need a local government. If you have to administer in remote areas away from your central government capital, then you need a local government for that. So depending on that, in all the countries we have a central government and we have some local government or administrative units. So the constitution gives power to central government as well as some local units, and depending on that what power the central government has and what are the powers to the administrative units, we can divide various type of states. So in this video we'll discuss about some state types like federal state, unitary state, confederation, empire, what are authoritarian government, and what are the various pros and cons of all these states. Also we'll discuss about some governments, how they function, what type of state they have, like UK, France, USA, and obviously we'll discuss about India. What are the position of India in this scenario, and what are the state and central power distribution in India, that will also discuss. So let's begin. So before we start, I would like you to attempt these 4 questions in the comment box. So the first question is whether India is a full democracy or a flawed democracy according to Democracy Index 2019. So we have a democracy index. So according to that, what do you think, India is a full democracy or flawed democracy? The second question is whether UK and Britain is the same. If the same, then it's fine. If not, then what's the difference? And third question is India follows a federal system or a unitary system of government, that you have to answer. Also, how many lists are there in Indian constitution which decide the legislative authority of central or and state? So first attempt these 4 questions in the comment box, then we'll proceed further in this video. So first let's name the 4 types of governments: federal state, unitary state, confederation, and empire. Also we'll discuss about authoritarian state. So in brief, if I tell you, the federal state has a central government, then that have a state government, then also may have local governments. While the unitary state has a strong central government, but the provincial and or administrative authorities are not that much strong or powerful. They are somewhat weaker. What happens in confederation? In confederation, various sovereign countries combine together and make a formation to achieve some common goals. And what is empire? In empire we have a strong central, and they rule by force, by hook and crook, on some region. So we'll discuss in detail. Let's begin. So what is a federation of state? In federal state we have a central government as well as some state governments. So those state governments have some autonomy, some partial rights, and they have various rights on the region they govern in. So in some issues the state governments can make laws, in some issues the central government can make laws, and there are certain issues on which both the governments can make laws. There are various ifs and buts. But in federation you have a central government as well as some state governments with some sovereignty. Means that state governments also have some sort of autonomy also, but not completely autonomous. Always the central have a upper hand on them. So like we see in USA, you have a central government as well as there are many state governments, 50 state governments in USA. Then you have some local authorities by which they govern. So this is the system in a federation. What is the position in India? In India we have a federal system, but various states also may have various level of autonomy. Like we have seen in the case of Jammu and Kashmir, there was Article 370, and in that Jammu and Kashmir was given special autonomy that was higher than other states. Also, if we see Article 371A to J, it gives various northeastern states as well as some other states some level of autonomy about they can restrict the movement of people inside the region. So there are various reasons for that we have discussed in article lectures. So the states have some form of autonomy, but they are not that much autonomous that they can secede from the union whenever they want. So central will always have a control on the state. So what are the benefits of a federal government? See, if you have a big nation, your country has various cultural differences and various diversity in geography, various diversity with respect to polity. So then if you see the example of India, suppose this is Arunachal Pradesh and this is Kerala. So Arunachal Pradesh is a hilly terrain where, and also the border is with China. So here we have a territorial border. Also the culture is different from, if you see, compare Arunachal and Kerala. So these both states are culturally different as well as geographically also different. So a government sitting in Delhi cannot govern these both states with the common laws. So for Arunachal you need some separate laws, and for Kerala you need some separate laws as per their condition. So what we have some state governments. We have Kerala government, we have Arunachal government, which are forming laws as per the local needs. So what happens generally in larger countries, we have federal structure. So if you see the example of United States, India, Brazil, Australia, Canada, some large countries have federal structures. What happens in unitary state? In unitary state you have a strong central. So the central has a lot of power, it is supreme, but it may create administrative divisions to govern. So it may give power to various administrative divisions. Now how much power it gives to its administrative divisions depends on the central, and at times it may take their power back also. So if we see, most of the countries in the world, 166 out of 193 UN members countries follow the unitary state system, while only 25 to 30 countries follow the federal state. Now if we see the example of some important countries, what happens in United Kingdom? See, first we have to understand the difference between England, United Kingdom and Britain. So I have put a map here. If you see this purple region, this is England. So okay, this is England. We have Wales, we have Scotland, we have Northern Ireland, we have Republic of Ireland, but this purple region is only England. So England do not have any states, just like India or USA. England do not have states. It only have some counties, and those counties are only administrative units. They do not have much autonomy, and the central government sitting in London govern through these counties. Okay, while if we combine England, Wales and Scotland, we call this whole isle as the Great Britain. The England, Wales plus Scotland is called the Great Britain. But if we combine it with Northern Ireland, so it becomes UK. So the full form of UK is actually United Kingdom of the Great Britain and Northern Ireland. So this complete is UK. So I have another map here. So if you see in this map, England, Scotland and Wales, these combinedly become the Great Britain. This purple line you can see. But if we combine also Northern Ireland in it, this blue line, this becomes United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. This whole island is called Ireland, and it combines Northern Ireland and Republic of Ireland. Also this whole isles, this is called British Isles. So what is the system of England, we have understood, but what is the system in UK? UK has 4 states, England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Technically UK is a constitutional monarchy, they have a queen, but they function through a parliament in London, and these various states have their own governments, but they cannot form laws. The laws are formed in the London parliament. So they only have to govern those regions by the laws prepared by the parliament. What is the situation in France? France also do not have any states, just like India and USA. They have various departments, almost 83 84 departments. So these are administrative units, and each department is headed by a prefect. So if we see the map of France, here this is the map of France, and these are various departments in France. So these are administrative units. So it doesn't mean that unitary state is cannot be a constitutional democracy. All these countries like UK, France, Germany, these all have unitary state, but these are constitutional democracy. That is, a central government is selected, chosen by the people. People vote and select the central government. But there are some unfree non-democracies also, like Algeria, Libya, and Swaziland. So you do not confuse unitary state with authoritarian state, because in authoritarian state the power is vested with a single individual or a handful of people, and they do not have any responsibility towards constitution, and the leader is not chosen by people, while in unitary state public chooses the leader. And in authoritarian states, most of like we see in China, there is no freedom of speech, no press freedom. You cannot practice any religions which are not approved by states. So various restrictions are there in authoritarian states. So here is a map. This map shows the Democracy Index 2019, which is published by Economic Intelligence Unit. So in this we can see various nations according to their democracy index. If you talk about India, India has fallen recently to 10 positions in democracy index, and now it is at 51st position. And it is said that the civil rights have reduced in India, and also press freedom has reduced. So that's another matter. If we see in this map, Canada, Australia, so these are some of the full democracies. If we see the flawed democracies, this is India is a flawed democracy, Brazil, Mexico. So these are some of the flawed democracy, Indonesia, okay, Japan. So these are some flawed democracies. If we see the authoritarian regimes, these are visible: Saudi Arabia, North Korea, China, Iran. So these are some of the authoritarian regimes. So this is the difference. If you see here, Britain has democracy, it is not an authoritarian regime. So if we talk about confederation, see, confederation is a unit, okay, when various sovereign countries unite together to achieve some common goals, so they form a confederation. Okay, like European Union, if we talk about, so it has some 27 odd countries, and they have formed together a union to achieve common goals. Now all the sovereign countries are very powerful, but the central unit, that is the European Union, is not that much powerful. So I have listed out some confederations which are currently active, like Commonwealth, like OPEC, Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, and European Union, and several others. Now what is empire? There is a difference between empire and confederation. Empire is also a unit of various multi-ethnic state, multinational states, but here the central is very strong. Central governs the whole region, maybe sometimes by power, by hook and crook. So empire has a very strong central position, like we have seen in Roman Empire, the Ottoman Empire, the Austro-Hungarian Empire. We talk about in India, there was Mauryan Empire. So these are the examples of some of various empires. So we have talked about federal and unitary state. Now if we compare them, if you see, the federal structure has multiple level of governments. So if you make some decision, it's a little bit slower compared to unitary state to implement that, because you have multiple levels of decision making. While in unitary state you have a central government that only has to make decisions, so you can act quickly and administer it through your administrative units. As federal state has multiple levels of government, you need more infrastructure, need more people to govern it, so it is sometimes costlier. While the unitary state is less costly because it has lesser government levels, so it is smaller, while the federal structure is larger. But the benefit of federal structure is, if you have a big nation, so you need a good infrastructure of government, so that you can reach up to the root of people in villages and remote areas. So you need a good infrastructure, and that you can get in federal state. So it take care of local needs very well. Well, the unitary state, sometimes if it is implemented in big countries, it lacks infrastructures, and it may ignore the local needs. In federal structure, we have multiple check and balances, so it is hard to abuse power, while in the unitary state, it is easier to abuse power, because you have a certain unitary system, certain people in the government only. Okay, if you talk about the federal state, it is somewhat less stronger, because decision making may be hampered by because some power are given to state, some power are given to central. In some powers you have to consult with state, so your decision making become less efficient. While in unitary state, it is easy to make decisions, because you have only one set of government, one government you have only, so it is easy to make decisions. If we talk about national integration, it is somewhat difficult in federal state compared to unitary state. That we have seen in American Civil War, the southern states tried to secede from the northern states. So American Civil War happened. So it is somewhat difficult to integrate all the states, because you have given autonomy to them. Sometimes they may be unhappy with the central government, and they may try to secede from the nation. Federal state has a bigger structure and a complex structure, while the unitary state has a simpler structures. If we talk about the legislations, in federal state you may have multiple legislation in various states and central, while in unitary state you have the common laws for generally you have common laws for central as well as all the region of the country. While in federal state, it is better for the large countries, but unitary state is mostly applied in smaller countries. If we see, the unitary state is mostly it's in about 166 countries in the world. So now, if we talk about what is the situation in India, see, India consider itself as a federal state. See, there is no binary that if you have either you are a federal state or you are a unitary state. There it may be ranked on a scale. So the country chooses its system of governance based off its political situations, its geographical situations, its cultural situations. So India is somewhat more towards federal state. India has a strong central with some federal scheme. Historically, if we talk about the difference between USA and India, in USA initially 13 states combined together, and they thought of making a union, and this is how the United States of America happened. So this was a bottom to top approach. While in India, what happened after independence, India was formed, and various states were given the choice that whether you can join India or you can join Pakistan. So it was somewhat top to bottom approach, like first India formed and later states were formed. Now once you join the Indian Union, you do not have power to secede the nation. Okay, so in India we have divided various rights between central and states, and these may be segregated in the form of legislative relations, administrative relations, as well as financial relations. If we talk about legislative relations, Part 11 of Indian Constitutions, which are Article 245 to 255, deals with it. They list out three lists. One is union list, another is state list, and concurrent list. In union list, you have issues like foreign affairs, defense, armed forces, communication, post and telegraph, foreign trade. So these are some 100 items, some odd 100 odd items in the union list, and only central government can make laws on them. While in the state list, you have prison, local government, agriculture, about 61 subjects. So only state can make ruling on these subjects, so make law on these subjects. While in the concurrent list, both the central and state can make laws, and there are some 52 items in the concurrent list, like newspaper, books, education, electricity, population control, family planning, etc. If we talk about administrative relations, suppose a state makes laws for police, so it is the responsibility of the state to administer the police also. Like if you talk about post, the central administers the postal offices, because it makes laws for them. If we talk about the financial relation, the Article 262 to 293 of Indian Constitution elaborate the financial relations between central and state also. So it tells you about the various taxes and taxes revenue, how they will be distributed between central and state. So I hope you must have understood something in this video, you learned something. And if you like the video, please hit the like, thumbs up, give a thumbs up and share the video. Also please subscribe the channel and hit the bell icon. Thank you so much.